I'm considering leaving my wife because I'm terrified she won't live to see our 3-year-old son become a teenager. Follow or subscribe for more stories. Her health kept getting worse, and every attempt I made to help ended in refusal. I still loved her and still thought she was beautiful. But I had reached a choice I never imagined making: confront her with the possibility of separation, or keep watching in silence. What happened after our hardest conversation changed the direction of our marriage. This was never about wanting my wife to look the way she did when we met. I loved her, especially after everything her body went through to bring our son into the world. I was scared about how much of that child's future she might miss. My wife and I were 30 and 32, and our son had just turned 3. After his birth, she kept the weight she had gained during pregnancy, then gradually gained more. She was also deeply depressed. I thought it might be postpartum depression, so I encouraged her to speak with a therapist. She did, and after some trial and error, she found medication that helped her feel mentally steady again. But her physical health kept moving in the wrong direction. At 5'2", she weighed about 260 pounds. Heart disease runs in her family, and I was terrified about what that could mean over time. The number itself wasn't the point. The pattern was. Her knees hurt, she avoided activity, and nothing seemed to be changing. I tried to make healthier choices something we could do together. I invited her to the gym with me. I suggested that we change what we ate as a family, stop relying on fast food, and find active hobbies we might both enjoy. Every idea was turned down. I knew how hard losing weight could be because I had once been overweight myself. I also knew that pressure and shame usually make things worse. Still, I felt helpless. I was watching someone I loved ignore a problem that frightened me, and every gentle conversation seemed to disappear without leading anywhere. Eventually, I started thinking about an ultimatum: genuinely try to become healthier or I would leave. Even thinking those words made me feel awful. I didn't want to threaten my wife or make our marriage depend on a scale. I wanted her beside me for decades. I wanted our little boy to have his mother there when he became a teenager, graduated, and built a life of his own. When I asked strangers for advice, plenty of people called me cruel. Some assumed I was embarrassed by her appearance or no longer attracted to her. That wasn't what I had written, and it wasn't what I felt. My fear was about her health and about her refusal to engage with it at all. Other people told me that an ultimatum would probably turn the conversation into a fight. They said I needed to speak honestly about the fear underneath my frustration. So before making any decision about our marriage, I decided to sit down with her one more time and tell her everything. One night, after we put our son to bed, I asked my wife to talk with me in the kitchen. It was probably the hardest conversation I had ever started. I told her that I loved her, that this wasn't about getting her old body back, and that I was scared. I needed to see her make some effort toward her health, even if the progress was slow. I also admitted how serious things had become for me. I told her I had considered separating. I hated saying it, but hiding it would have been dishonest. I didn't give her a target weight or demand instant results. I told her I needed us to stop pretending the problem would solve itself. She finally understood that I wasn't casually nagging her. I was frightened enough to imagine our family breaking apart. The conversation hurt both of us, but it also broke through the stalemate. The first month afterward was incredibly difficult. Changing routines was frustrating, and there were setbacks. But she kept going. She began making smaller, sustainable choices instead of trying to transform everything overnight. 5 months later, my wife had lost 35 pounds. More importantly, she was still moving forward at a healthy, moderate pace. I was unbelievably proud of her, not because she had reached some perfect number, but because she was taking care of herself and refusing to give up. Then she started exercising with me. I normally jog in the mornings, but running was hard on her knees, so 3 days a week we walked 1 or 2 miles together. Sometimes we talked the whole way. Sometimes we simply listened to music and enjoyed being beside each other. Those walks became more than exercise. They gave us quiet time as a couple, away from the pressure of the kitchen conversation and the fear that had built up before it. We were no longer standing on opposite sides of the problem. We were moving in the same direction. Her confidence began coming back, too. She seemed happier and more like herself. The change I cared about most wasn't a smaller body. It was seeing hope return to her face and knowing that she was participating in her own future again. Looking back, I still don't think there was a painless way to have that conversation. I could have delivered it more harshly and destroyed her trust, or avoided it until resentment destroyed our marriage. What helped was being honest about love and fear, offering support, and letting progress be gradual. I know one update doesn't guarantee an easy road. Health, depression, medication, parenthood, and long-term habits are complicated. But 5 months after I thought I might leave, my wife and I were walking together. For us, that was a real beginning. If someone you loved was putting their health at risk, how would you start that conversation without turning concern into shame? Follow for more stories.